Okay, you're welcome back again. Let's quickly have this as well. We This time around we'll be considering another subtopic regarding the quadratic equation again. But this time we'll be taking the topic as you can see on the screen: sum and product of roots of quadratic equation. What does this mean? Sum and product of roots of a quadratic equation. Now, this is a very simple thing that if you look at the topic very well, it has explained itself. It means that if we take the roots of a quadratic equation, that is, in the last video I explained what it means to have a root of a quadratic equation. It means for you to find the value of your unknown, which is x in this case. As you can see on your screen, we have the general form of writing the quadratic equation, and we have our x as the unknown. Okay, so when you get the values of the unknown, which you are going to have two values, and in that case you are going to take the sum of the outcome, and also you are required to take the product of the outcome. That's all we want to do now. So because the root means the value of the unknown that you got, so now adding them together and also taking the product of the two, that's what we are trying to do. So now what you have on your screen actually says, given that you have ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, where a, b and c are constants such that a is not equal to 0. Now if you assume that the roots of any given quadratic equation or a given quadratic equation are alpha and beta, then the sum of the roots and the product of roots of the quadratic equation are given as we have below. So we have the sum, that is alpha plus beta equals to minus b over a. Then the product, which is alpha beta, is c over a. Now let me just take your mind back to the last video where we got the root of a particular quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Now in the first example we obtained the values of our x to be x, of our x to be to be x equals to -1, and we say or x equals to -1 whole number 1 over 2. Now in this case, now the one that we got the other time, we got a particular value, we are being specific, but in this case we are generalizing what we have here. We are generalizing that our value, our outcome, our answer for x is actually alpha, or x is giving us beta. So if we have the roots of the equation to be alpha or beta, or alpha and beta, then taking the sum of the outcome, that is alpha plus beta, that's what you have here, then your outcome will be minus b over a. Then when you take the product of this outcome, the product of these answers that you obtain for the value of x, or as the value of x, then you have c over a. That's what we are trying to say. So let's take an example for more clarification. Now in this example we are being told to find the sum of roots and the product of roots. I'm going to be using two methods. The first method is going to be not long, but it's going to be a bit not short compared to the formula that we have in the first slide that I just took away now. So let me begin. So we have according to what we have there, we have x squared plus x minus 42 equals to 0. So I'll be using factorization method to get to obtain my values of x. So factorization method. So let's keep that in mind. So now I'll marry the first term with square, that is the first term with square, and the other one here, the constant term. I'll pin them together. We have minus 42x squared. Now my aim now is to find two numbers or two factors of 42 that when I multiply them together it will give me minus 42, and when I add them it will give me positive 1. Now I have only one x here, which signifies I have just one x. A single x and just a x is the same thing. So I think the better factors that I can use to that will suit us here is minus 6, and you multiply that by 7. Minus 6 times 7 will give you minus 42, and when you remove this multiplication sign and you add them together, minus 6 plus 7, you will obtain 1 as your answer. This will give you negative 42, and this will give you 1. So aim achieved. We have negative 42 and we have positive 1. So I will replace positive 1 by using this by using minus 6 plus 7. So I have x squared. Instead of me writing positive 1, I have negative 6x, right, plus 7x minus 42 equal to 0. We have done this in class, so I'll not waste time on this. So we have x squared minus 6x, open a bracket, plus we will exclude this one, this sign from the bracket. Now it will stand alone at the middle. We have 7x minus 42 all equal to 0. So we have, let's proceed. Therefore we have to check the bracket here, we check inside this bracket, we look for what is common, we factor it out, and we also look for this bracket inside the bracket as well, and we also bring out a common factor. So we have x is common in this bracket, and you are left with a single x minus 6, because the x here has been factorized. So we have plus, what you have here is 7 and 42. If you check very well, 7 is a factor of 7 and 7 is a factor of 42. So you are left with x here minus 6, because 7 will go in 42 6 times. All right, so if you come back again and you check this particular term here and this one here, you will observe that the content in each of the brackets are the same. So I can also bring that out. So I have x minus 6. What is left here is x, and what is left here when this one was gone is 7 equal to 0. So it's either I have x minus 6 to be 0, or I have what, x plus 7 to be equal to 0. So if I decide to bring this to the other side, I'm bringing 6 to this side, and I'm also bringing 7 to this side. So I'll have x. Now as I bring this to the other side, the negative sign here will turn to plus. I have 6, or I have my x. Now as this one is come to this side, the positive sign becomes negative. So I have 7 minus 7x. So I have not gotten the required value. I have not done what I was taught to do. So if I want to attempt it now, like, let me just say for A, we have A and B to be attended to A. Now let me do that. Now A says the sum. The requirement is to take the sum of the roots, and that will be, what's the sum of the roots? Now what are the roots? We have 6 and minus 7. So you have 6 plus the sum of the roots minus 7. So in this case you will have 6. Now positive times negative will give us negative 7, and our outcome here is minus 1. So we are done with A. So let's go to B. Let's do B now. So B, we have product. Pardon me for that. We have product of roots will be, I got 6, then I got minus 7. So multiplying them together, I will have negative 42. So that's it. We have achieved that. But there is a way, we actually needed to solve in this case before we could obtain the values of the of x. But in the formula that I showed you the other time, that will be our second method. It's not required. We don't need to solve or know the values of x before we can get the sum and the product. So how do we achieve that? Let's check our next method. Now here we have the same question, but we are going to method 2. So let me remind you of let me first write the expression here. We have x squared plus x minus 42 equals to 0. And now if you remember what we saw in the first slide, we have that alpha, which is the sum. If I take the first one, which is A, okay, let me take A, answering A now. Right, we have the requirement is find the sum of roots of the equation. So I will make use of the formula that we saw in the first slide. It says alpha plus beta, which signifies the sum of the roots, is equal to what? Minus b over a. So it means that I need to identify a, b, and c, because I will still need c. My a, according to this equation, is 1, because this is just a single x squared, just 1 x squared. It's not up to 2, it's not more than 1, it's just 1. So we have x squared and the coefficient is 1. Here we also have x, which is also 1, having coefficient of 1. Is just a singular x. So a is 1, that is, this a is 1. Okay, that's your a. B, this is in the position of b, that is also 1. Then c is minus 42, and that's, I'm referring to this place. So now let's proceed. Alpha plus beta, which is standing for the sum of roots, is going to be minus, what's my b? 1. What's my a? Is also 1. Minus 1 over 1, our answer is negative 1. If you remember what we got the other time, you will realize that we have gotten the same thing. Let's go to B. Remember, we didn't solve for x in this case before we obtained our value for the sum. So let's go for the product as well. Alpha beta will be c over a. And what does that mean? We have our c. What's c? Negative 42, as you can see on your screen, over, what's a? A is 1. And at the end of the day, we got minus 42 as our answer, which is the same thing as what we obtained in the first method. But this method is faster and shorter. All right, let's proceed. Lastly, we will take this example. We have to find the sum and product of roots. So let's attempt the first one, making use of the formula that we just used the other time. That is alpha plus beta, standing for the sum of roots, equals minus b over a. And in this question, you will realize that you can say where a, if you go back to the question, you see here that our a is 3. Let me just show you clearly. Our a is actually 3. Okay, our b is minus 5. I have told you, always watch for the sign minus. Okay, once it appears, pronounce it with the number. Our c is minus 2. So where a is 3, then b is minus 5, and c is minus 2. So let's go back to the sum now. Sum alpha plus beta will be equal to, where now we have minus, the formula has its own personal minus, and b is coming its own personal minus. Please watch out for that. Minus 5 all over 3. Now minus times minus is plus, then you have 5 over 3. Okay, that's our answer. Or you can proceed by saying you have 1 on number 2 over 3. I hope you know how we got that. Okay, so having said that, let's complete it. We are to also take the product, and that is in b. Product, we have b, which is alpha beta. Okay, alpha beta. The formula is c over a. So what's my c? My c is -2, and my a is 3. So that's all. We have it done without solving the quadratic equation. I want to believe that this is clear. I want to believe that this is clear to us. So I left you with this exercise. Okay, so you can practice with this. If you have any issue with it, let me know. I'll see you in the next video.